You may be wondering, how can you draw someone who doesn't exist wrong? Because somehow we know. The hair, the outfit, the scars could all be there, and you can still look at their face and think, that's not really them. I draw fictional characters for a living, and I think that strange little moment tells us why we get so attached. And if you already have one particular character in your head right now, yes, this video is probably about you. If you're like me, maybe you've made playlists for them, spent hours writing lore that nobody asked for. You know what they are afraid of, what they would order at a tavern, who they die for, and exactly which parent is responsible for at least 60% of their issues. Some of us have documents containing more information about our Cs than about ourselves, and at this point, the childhood timeline is probably better documented than most actual historical events. Completely normal behavior, absolutely nothing to see here. Moving on. Oh, and God forbid someone draws their eyes the wrong shade of blue, it can get very personal real quick. So, my question is why? Why can a person who has never existed make us feel comfort, grief, pride, and longing? Sometimes all at once? Like, why do we miss them? Why seeing them drawn correctly for the first time make us ridiculously emotional? Something strange happens. They stop feeling like a pile of random thoughts and we start feeling like we know them. At first, maybe they were only a vague idea, white hair, stupidly tall, terrible childhood, questionable morals, you know, the bare minimum for character creation, but the longer you spend with them, the more specific everything becomes. Like, one day you could be casually deciding what weapon they carry, and the next year, somehow 3 hours deep into figuring out which flowers they associate with grief or something. So you stop asking what would be interesting for the plot, and instead you start wondering what they would actually do, or what unhinged shit would come out their mouth. Sometimes you could be writing a scene and thinking, oh, they would never do that, they have standards. Which is a slightly insane thing to say about a person whose entire existence is dependent on you. Like, hello, you made them, you are God here, so you have the control, so you can make them do whatever you want, and yet somehow they have the audacity to develop boundaries. Maybe am I the only one going crazy thinking about this? Anyway, fictional characters have this inconvenient habit of carrying pieces of us. Not necessarily on purpose or because they're self-inserts. I don't think every OC is secretly just their creator wearing elf ears, but they usually carry something much smaller, like a fear you haven't named yet, a question you don't know how to ask out loud, version of yourself you wish you could become, hell, a version of yourself you're terrified you already are, or just a character who can be angry in ways you never let yourself be, or is just painfully soft in a world that punishes softness. Well, you get my gist. You didn't deliberately put any of yourself into them at all. Then 3 years later, you're gonna be staring at their backstory and suddenly thinking, oh, well, that's concerning. Speaking from experiences, obviously. So sometimes fantasy gives us enough distance to look at things we couldn't look at directly. Like, oh, it's not my grief, it's my necromancer's grief. Totally different, nothing to unpack here. But a character can become a safe place to put a feeling you don't quite know what to do with yet. It can give your anger a sword, your fear a tragic backstory. Very healthy, very efficient, no therapy needed, and it's free. God, we love free stuff. And I think that's part of what makes fictional characters so precious, right? Like, their lives might not be real, but the things we as humans explore through them can very much be. Such as the friendship you made through them, the nights you spent writing them, that campaign you still talk about years later, the version of yourself who created the OC when you were, I don't know, 16. All these moments are as real as they can be. So now a character becomes this bizarre little time capsule. You change, they change with you. Their design gets better. Their story gets written 67 times, and we can quietly pretend that their 2016 haircut never happened, okay? We don't talk about that. So years later, one look at them can bring you back to the person you were when you first made them. And honestly, now that I'm taking all of this in, it's hella overwhelming. But it's probably why drawing other people's characters feels so personal to me. Like when I get a commission, I'm not only translating hair color, clothes, scars, or the number of decorative knives someone has. At some point, I stop asking, what do they look like? And start asking, who am I actually looking at? Who is this that I'm drawing? Maybe the character isn't supposed to look angry, maybe they're just exhausted from everything they've been shouldering. Maybe they aren't cold, they're just well guarded. And then I change something small about them, like the tension around an eyebrow, or the shape of the mouth, or just the light catches in their eyes. Tiny movement, a tiny change. And suddenly, boom shakalaka, there you are, baby. That's them. Oh, it's one of my favorite moments in the entire process. Like, the character hasn't magically become real, obviously. I have not summoned them into the room. That would be both incredible and deeply inconvenient. But for a second, something that existed only inside someone's head has stepped a little closer to the surface. And I think that's also why we care so much about imperfections. The characters I remember aren't usually perfect, they're contradictory. They're a terrifying warrior who's unbelievably gentle with exactly 1%. The monster who desperately wants to be loved, or just a good person capable of doing something terrible for the right reasons. That contradiction is where things get real spicy and real juicy. I don't think we love characters despite their flaws. A lot of the time, I think that's where we find them, because the real people are messy. We contradict ourselves, we want things that are often bad for us, we hurt people we love, we try again, and we can be stupidly brave about one thing and complete cowards about another. We are unfinished. We are continuously becoming. So it makes sense that the fictional people who feel closest to us would also be unfinished too, right? I think that's why it can genuinely hurt when their story ends, or when a campaign finishes, or just when you rediscover an old OC folder you haven't opened in years. You are aware that they aren't alive. That was never the point. But all the hours you put into them, the memories, the feelings they carried, were very much real. Whatever part of yourself you left inside them was real. So maybe asking, why do we care so much about someone who doesn't exist, is actually the wrong question. Maybe the better question is, what did they give us while they were here? They gave you somewhere to put your anger. Maybe they made you braver, they helped you meet someone you love, or they got you through an unbelievably shitty year. God, 2013, oof. Or maybe just creating them was simply fun. Oh, imagine having fun. That counts as well. Not everything needs to be secretly trauma. Sometimes the vampire is just hot, okay? I love vampires, I think they're hot. I understand. So no, your character isn't real. Unfortunately, like, no amount of lore is going to change that. But your attachment to them, that is. And I think there's something very human about our ability to take nothing but an idea and give it a name, a face, a history, fears, scars, people they love, things they regret, and an alarmingly detailed Pinterest mood board. Oh, and eventually a soul. And ladies and gentlemen, that is why I created Mazephoria. I don't just want to make beautiful characters. I'm interested in that strange moment when you look into the eyes of someone who never existed and think, there you are. And now I want to hear about your character, who has probably been sitting in the back of your mind throughout this entire video, I hope. Not your favorite character in general. I want the one you cannot be normal about. Your OC, be it D&D, someone from a book, a game, a character you've carried around for 15 years that nobody else understands quite like you do. So tell me their name in the comments and tell me why that one got you. Give me the lore. Give me the juicy lore, seriously. This is possibly the worst place on the internet to apologize for talking too much about fictional people. And if dark fantasy, character obsession, art stories, and taking imaginary people far too seriously sounds like your kind of thing, subscribe. Yeah, you gotta do it now. Because next time, I am going to tell you about what happened when the thing I loved most, making art, stopped feeling like mine, and why I eventually decided to start again. Until then, thank you for watching, and welcome to the maze.